Welcome back. Matt Gilmore sitting in for Aaron Rand today and for the rest of the week. Organizers of the Grand Prix say they have done a complete 180 this year after some logistical issues put a bit of a damper on last year's event. Sandrine Garneau is the Chief Operations Officer of Brand and Strategy for Octane Racing Group, the Grand Prix promoter. And Sandrine joins me now. Hello.
Hi, Matt.
Thank you for doing this, Sandrine. I just want to start off by talking about some of the things that went wrong, we could say, last year. If you could sort of run me through them. Obviously, there were some communication issues on the practice day where there was some rain and thunder and people were asked to leave and couldn't come back. So what happened last year and what kind of changes have you guys put in place to try to avoid some of that confusion?
Yeah, last year was pretty much a perfect storm. So we did have some weather issues. We had some miscommunication with public instances, the STM, also the SPVM. These are all things that we like to say that we control everything in Formula One, but the reality is that we do not control the weather. So as an event organizer, and I'm sure other people online can attest to this, when the rain starts playing around, it adds a bunch of logistical issues. We have to reprint some signage. We have to, take care of muddy areas and things like that. So it really did not do us any favors. And unfortunately for us, it was on the Friday last year. So this year we have done a full revamp of our operations center, and we have made sure that we have weather monitoring in our operations center, but also that everybody around the table is part of the public instances and that everybody gets the same message at the same time. So last year, after the perfect storm in July, we all sat down around the table and everybody was there and ready to address all of the things that went wrong. And I'm happy to say that 10, 11 months later, everybody is still around the table to make sure that this event goes off without a hitch.
Okay, so communication with authorities, that's one thing. I was there last year actually covering the Formula One with CTV News, which was a lot of fun, obviously. But, one of the things that was brought up a lot was that it had been freshly paved, the track. And there was some puddling as well that happened. Even with the rain, I guess that's hard to avoid. But is there any attention been paid to making sure that the track is in good condition, regardless of what kind of weather we get?
Yeah, of course. But, Matt, so we are bound by FIA regulations. So there are some very strict rules that are put into play by the FIA. And we all know what happened to Jules Bianchi a few years ago, which obviously no organization ever wants to go through anything like that. So we respect FIA regulations and we make sure that the track is secure and that it's good to go. In regards to pooling, there has been a little bit of a change to turns 8 and 9 that are on the other side of the circuit to make sure that the retention basin is there. But as every Montrealer knows, Ile Notre Dame is a man-made island that's made on rock that was taken from the subway system. So the reality is that we are in the middle of the St. Lawrence and that the drainage sometimes when it comes down that fast can be quite difficult to go through. But we are equipped with Parc Jean Drapeau, with our partners at Parc Jean Drapeau to make sure that the drainage systems have been cleared, that they're as optimal as they can possibly be. And our operation team is always on standby to make sure that if we do need to pump some of that water or have anything get off track in a timely fashion, we can do so to minimize delays to the race.
Speaking with Sandrine Garneau with Octane Racing Group, the Grand Prix promoter, about some of the issues last year and changes that have been made to make sure it goes smoothly this year. I want to ask you about what happened in town last year. I know it's not part of your event necessarily, but obviously the whole experience of the city life is kind of part and parcel with the event itself and some of the issues with the terraces. Are you guys involved in any sort of discussions about making sure stuff like that doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I think the key word there, Matt, is that it unfortunately is not in our jurisdiction, but we did end up paying for it reputation-wise. So we are very close to Ferreira Restaurant, which is where it all started last year. So obviously our hearts went out to them last year and throughout this year as well. Also happy to say that the SIM, le Service d'Incendie de la Ville de Montréal, has been around the table with us since the beginning because they were also very affected, obviously, and rightfully so, by what happened. So our collaboration with them is great. And when I was talking about everybody that was around the table back in July and that is still around the table today. They were part of that, but also les associations de commerçants. We've been dealing with Glenn Castagnera at Montreal Centre-Ville, Tourism Montreal, obviously, because the reality is that we are a leg of a world championship, and when things happen like they did last year, it's the entire country that ends up paying for it. So it's very important for us to have everybody around the table and putting their best foot forward, and that's why with the help of Le Parc Jean Drapeau and the City of Montreal, we're making sure that, you know, the construction sites are well tidied up, that the dressing is nice around the workspaces, and we're trying to minimize as much as possible the impact that will have on fans and also the wider Formula One family.
If I'm correct, there's a contract to stay in Montreal until at least the end of the decade. Is it 2031?
2031, yeah.
But I would imagine the pressure is on for you guys this year to make sure that everything is done to make sure that contract gets renewed.
You know, we're well aware that the competition is out there. I've been lucky enough to be able to travel as part of my job and see what everybody else has to offer. So obviously, we want to put our best foot forward, and we really want to be competing with the other Grand Prix that are part of the World Championship. So without saying that the pressure is on, I'd say that the team is very stimulated. The team is very motivated. I'm extremely proud of the resilience that our team has shown in recent months. We're kind of comparing it to having studied for an exam all year, and now we're at that point where we have the ministry exams and we kind of just need to get it across the line. But we've been very, very well accompanied by our stakeholders and also by Formula One. So it's all been very encouraging.
All right. Thank you, Sandrine. I hope that the event goes off without a hitch. I appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Matt. Have a good one.
Sandrine Garneau is with Octane Racing Group, the Grand Prix promoter. Your news is next.